Good morning. My name is Ravi Karkara, and I work with UN Habitat and UN Millennium Campaign, advising them on youth issues worldwide. And I'm based out in New York office. And I also co-chair the UN Interagency Network on Youth Development sub-working group on youth participation and development of the post-2015 agenda. I'm here to speak about the Youth 21 initiative which is led by UN Habitat on really looking at UN architecture and youth engagement. I'm also going to talk about UN Millennium Campaign's flagship project on behalf of the UN system, which is My World Survey, and how young people have engaged in that. And finally, I would also talk about the issues of young people using information communication technology for sustainable development and social transformation. A Youth 21 initiative, which started really inspired by the Agenda 21 document, really goes and looks into and investigates that how we in the UN system have been engaging with young people. For the first time, the League of Nations in 1936 called for a World Conference on Youth. And subsequently, we have seen world conferences and various opportunities in the 1940s, 50s, and so on, and goes on to 2011, the last high-level meeting on youth. What comes out very interestingly, if you look at the declarations coming out from 1936 to 2011, is a very interesting pattern, which is young people demanding that the UN system should really engage with young people, provide spaces and opportunity where they can voice their concerns, participate in decision-making processes, but most crucially, really asking for opportunities where young people can offer their partnership, their positive civic engagement so that they can become actors in creating social transformation in the communities and in global processes. So U21 made a recommendation, which was to appoint the Secretary General's special representative on youth. And we worked with esteemed governments such as Norway, such as Brazil, Sri Lanka, UAE, and others to really get their support so that we really create this new mechanism. And I'm very, very glad to say that, and probably you've already heard, that we have now a Secretary General's envoy on youth. We really commend the Secretary General for also prioritizing youth in his second term priority and becoming the first Secretary General really to say that we need to step up and really work with young people. And similarly, you must have heard already that we are also working in the UN system on the system-wide action plan on youth. I'm here to also speak about the second recommendation which comes out of the Youth 21 initiative, which is also to create a UN permanent forum on youth. This is still a discussion. It's not, no concrete agenda has really been set, but there's a momentum out there saying that, how do we really create permanent structures and mechanisms where young people going from one meeting to the other, one conference to the other, can really bring and coordinate and consolidate the discussion on young people's issues, as highlighted in the World Programme for Action on Youth. The attempt is to create national level platform assemblies, regional platform assemblies, and global UN Permanent Forum on Youth. And the advocacy continues. I would also like to highlight, as many of you know, that for the last 2 years, UN system has been really working on promoting young people's participation in the post-2015 development agenda. Over 88 national consultations, 11 thematic consultations, 4 high-level panel meetings were conducted, and we saw extensive involvement of young people. Young women, young men participated widely. But also a similar project which came through was the online mobilization, which UN Millennium Campaign has been doing on behalf of the UN system, is the My World 2015 Global Survey. The survey is really a simple tool to go out there and ask people that how can you prioritize when the governments are really sitting in 2015 and saying that what are the global priorities after MDGs. And I would really invite all of you to take it. It's myworld2015.org. But if you start looking at the data analytics which is coming out of this, and I'm sure my colleague Miro from Glocha will show you the infographics, you'll see that if you look at the age cohort of 16 to 30, and I must say that out of 1.3 million, 900,000 are below the age of 30 who have taken the survey. And out of that, about 700,000 are in the age group of 16 to 30, and their priorities are education, education, education. No surprise, a demand for knowledge, a demand for competency and skill-based education system that can create employment and entrepreneurship, and really contribute to sustainable development values. The second priority is health. Third being job opportunities. Fourth, which is very interesting, is asking for accountability, which is honest and responsive governments. Fifth, on protection from crime or violence. Sixth being gender equality. And seventh, issues of climate change, whether it's water, forest, rivers, and climate change specifically. We see a very clear emergence of this global community of young people who are really more connected to issues of sustainable development as highlighted in Agenda 21 and what came out of Rio Plus 20. But also there's a worry because we have not really created those opportunities. We haven't created that aid architecture we can really invest in young people. And that's what the Youth 21 initiative, the third component of the Youth 21 initiative, is also rethinking the global aid architecture and really trying to question where is youth investments being made. And we're also working on the global aid architecture discussion, which I will be happy to speak at a later point. Finally, I think one thing which came as a big learning from the My World survey was this very strong engagement of young people. That the number I talked about, 700,000 young people participate as individual participant, individual voter. They mobilize their networks, their youth-led organization, their universities or their a rural community or rural groups, and they came and participated. But third thing which happened with young people was they didn't just limit for their participation. They went and mobilized votes of women out there, indigenous communities, disability communities, and so on and so forth. We have images of young people having and conducting a vote in a rural area, or a 17-year-old young woman sitting and having a discussion with an 85-year-old old woman and asking her what her priorities are. So what we're really seeing is also a strong demand for a global void, which I really request the government of Austria to consider filling. That where is the global discussion on how do we continuously engage with young people through information communication technology, linking that to sustainable development, and more importantly, to social action and social transformation. And I, of course, really want to congratulate the government of Austria and the Austrian people for really selecting and voting for this dynamic 27-year-old youth minister who is now your foreign minister. And that really speaks a lot about a government and people. And really, we want to see more young value-based leadership out there in political system, economic system, social system, civil system, and of course in academia. And I would really urge the government of Austria with GLOCHA to really create a global hub where we can really bring together young people who are sensitive, who really want to take on a fusion between ICT, sustainable development, and social transformation as we move on to the next set of the global development agenda. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and I'm very, very glad my colleague Miro has invited me to speak, and we in UN Habitat will be very happy to engage and look for partnerships. And we really call upon our colleagues out there, our academics colleagues, to really take on the My World survey, take it to the universities and other platforms so that we can win more and more voices. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I look forward to this continued discussion and most importantly, a continued partnership. Thank you.